Hi, I'm Pastor Amy. You might be able to guess from this towel, or maybe if you can tell that my hair is a little damp, that I just got back from the pool a little bit ago, which is such a nice luxury on a hot summer day, to be able to go and cool off and get some exercise at the same time. Well, someone asked me on the way out of church a couple of weeks ago a question that I didn't know the answer to. They asked if I knew what word was mentioned more times in the Bible than even faith and hope. Do you know what it is? Well, they told me it's water. Water is actually mentioned over 700 times in the Bible. And you may know some of the stories where water is featured. Of course, there's Noah, who builds the ark to make it through the waters of the flood. There's the story of Moses, who parts the waters of the Red Sea to free the people of Israel from slavery in Egypt. And then there's the story of Jesus' baptism, where he comes up out of the waters of the Jordan River as the Spirit of God descends like a dove on him. Well, September is a season of creation at St. John's, where we will hear in preaching and in the hymns that we sing, in the prayers, the message about stewarding the creation that God has given us, being good stewards of all that God has made. And that's another story where water is featured. In the story of creation, God's Spirit broods over the waters, calling forth life in which God took delight. You see, we know it's true that water is essential for us and for all living things. And we also know, especially in California, that water is a scarce resource that needs to be stewarded and cared for. We see that we're not doing such a great job of being good stewards of God's creation by the climate change and the climate crisis that is upon us. We can see it even throughout this summer in heat waves throughout the world. In Europe, there was such a severe drought that many of the rivers and the lakes were drying up. And of course, we know here in California that every summer we go deeper into drought. And those of us with access to air conditioning and water in abundance to drink so that we can stay hydrated on these hot days, and maybe even have a swimming pool that we can go to, we kind of take for granted that access to these resources isn't open to everyone. Those unhoused neighbors who are living on the streets actually can't access this very essential resource of drinking water. Even that is uncertain as to where you might be able to find it when you're living on the streets, and it might be a far distance from where you have your tent or where you've been living. And so this week, as we see another heat wave coming in these next few days, even reaching 111 or 112 on Sunday, that you would pray for those who are on the streets and who may not be able to access water and opportunities to cool off. I also invite you to join us for an opportunity to serve these unhoused neighbors in need. On Monday, September 5th, which is Labor Day, we'll meet at church in the morning and go out and distribute 1-gallon jugs of water to some of the smaller encampments or the places where people are living in and around Midtown. If you can't join us on Monday, maybe you can bring by some water sometime this week, maybe on Sunday morning if you're coming to worship. We're asking people, if they can, to bring 10 1-gallon jugs or bottles of water, and then we'll take those out to people and be a sign of God's love in the world. So I hope that you can either help us in this effort by donating or by joining us on Monday morning. And you can look for more information in our newsletter. Thanks for listening to this midweek message.